Namaskar. Good morning, dear devotees and friends. Let us begin our scripture study, Yogavasistha. Dikyaladi anabachinna ananta chinmatra murtaye swanubhuti ekamanaya Namah Shantaya Tejase. I salute the Supreme Brahman, who is beyond all qualities, tranquil, beyond the limitations of the directions, space, time, or objects, who alone is the embodiment of infinite consciousness, and who is to be known only through the proof of one's own experience. So we are studying the Yogavasistha. This is mainly the conversation between the young Sri Ramachandra, the prince of Ayodhya, and their family guru, the Vasishta Muni. The conversation slowly entered into the Advaita Vedanta. And here, today's topic that I have marked as, are we real? Now, just now, the stotra that I chanted and the meaning that I said, that proves that everything is nothing but that consciousness. So, what we are we conscious? But our body, it cannot be. And all our senses, sense organs, including the mind, how can that be the conscious? So that with that doubt the question comes, are we real? Real means eternal. Here the Rishi Vasishta now introducing the highest philosophy, the Advaita Vedanta, by saying this world, though visible, is not real. We get the answer. We belong to the world. Obviously, as per the Yogavasistha, as per the Vasishta Muni, this world is not real, though visible. Yadidam drishyate kinchit na asti kim api dhruvam. What is that dhruva? Dhruva means permanent. Dhruvam is the permanent. The dhruva tara, sometimes they say, the Dhruva Tara means that permanent, it will never change its position. Similarly, the Dhruvam, it is not permanent. That's why it is not real. So here, the question is real means permanent. And from our own experience, we can also say it's correct. Everything is changing. I can see my own photographs that was taken when I was a baby lying on the lap of my mother. Then I am crawling on the floor. Then I am standing a little holding something. Then I am walking, I am bicycling, I am doing this, doing that. At present I am this. When they have taken, nowadays the modern parents, they are every month, every changes of the baby, they are now taking the photograph and keeping that so that the baby will understand afterwards when he grown up. And we can see that the changes of the body. And we can feel that the changes of the mind. We were thinking something when we were kids, and slowly it has changed so much. So everything is changing, and the thing that is changing cannot be said permanent. So from that point of view, this world and around us, everything is nothing permanent, nothing permanent. So that it says, Yad idam drishyate kinchit na asti kim api dhruvam. Though the world, though it is visible, we can see, but this is not permanent. So this is the problem. Now, how the Rishi can say that? Because he has realized it. And the realization is not a calculation or some type of understanding as the scientists they do. One scientist will reveal something or discover something, he will record that, and afterwards, after maybe a few years, another young scientist will come and say, no, that cannot be. These are the things that is changing, etc., etc. The scientific decisions, discoveries, it changes. But the spiritual discovery can never change. Almost 10,000 years before, when almost at the dawn of the civilization, when the rishis, they discovered the Atman, the eternal one, which is nothing but the consciousness on which everything is reflecting. So that discovery was realized again and again and again in the same fashion, same way, by so many people. But only one criteria is necessary, that you have to clean your mind. And what is this cleaning of the mind? Manapavitrata. So what is that purity of the mind? We have to withdraw your senses, and your mind should be still, free from any thought of the objects of the world. That much. If we can completely free our mind from any thought, including our body and other relations, and forget about the objects of the world, when it is completely free, it is said it is pure. And the moment it is free, that means there is no desire for enjoyment of these objects. Then what happened? The tranquility. And when it becomes tranquil, the guna, sattva, raja, tama, again and again, the Vedantin will say, because of these three gunas, the permutation and the combination, the mind is creating so many things. Characters are changing. So when that is not there, when the equilibrium is there, in that mind, the real original thing is dawn. So that is called the knowledge. That knowledge, which is now we call as Veda. Veda means knowledge. And that Veda, that knowledge, is not an intellectual knowledge. It's a knowledge of revelation. It's not realization even. It is not an object that I have discovered, I have understood. Nothing like that again. Is the revelation. Automatically it is revealed. So that it says that from that revelations, every rishi, those who could do that, says the same thing. What do they say? This world that you see, though it is so attractive, every time it is changing, but in reality it is not there, it is not permanent. At the back of it there is something permanent on which it is reflected. This is the ultimate truth that the Vedantin will say. Now why we can't understand? Because of our present condition. Now we can think in this way. Two persons standing in same place and looking at a particular spot of the desert. Now in that desert, one, maybe we can give the name A. A is looking at that particular place of the desert and thinking it is full of water, and in the desert the water is a scarcity, it is really precious, and he sees that water and he can see the waves on that water, it can see the camels, it can see the palm trees and the tents of the Bedouins. He can see, even he can hear the sounds that is coming from there. So he sees, he hears, and he is convinced that it is that place is full with so many people. Now another person standing by his side, looking at the same spot, and because of his experience sees only the desert, only the dry sand and nothing else. So how it is possible? Person standing from the same place, looking at the same spot, seeing two different things, because one is ignorance. He is imagining, thinking, and that he is reflecting on that particular place of sand. Other is a man of knowledge with experience. He knows this is nothing but mirages. So in the desert it always happens, and people die because of these. So through experience. Here also, in our lives also, when we are growing up, so we can understand when we are say 15, 16, then we look at our little brothers and sisters, they are playing with their dolls, and they are children, we say that. We were children also, we were also so fond of those things. Now we have completely changed. Why? Experience. So those things are not real. And for us, what is the reality? That we have to go in bicycling with the friends, then there'll be party, there'll be this, there'll be that. We are now imagining that. And the elderly people will say, don't do that. That is not good for you. How do they can say that? Though we don't like to believe at that age that vices of the senior people, but afterwards when we become senior, then we really, this is true. That way, every time through experience, only we can understand. And this is a place where we have to accept the rishis, the words of the rishis, and that is our guide map. That is the only thing that we can follow. And the rishi says, Brahma Shatya Jagan Mithya. And another thing they say, you are that. You are that Brahman. How they can say that? After describing the Maya, about which we have already discussed, the Rishi now introducing the truth, the reality, the Atman, the Brahman. What we see, we feel, we taste, we smell, we touch, it's not real. The 5 sense organs, this is the beauty, and really the modern people, educated people, they are appreciating this process of the ancient rishis. They were not having anything. Nowadays there are so many instruments are there with which we can understand so many other things. But these rishis were not having anything except their own mind. And that mind they used to utilize, they control their minds, and then they focus their minds to mind. So that every knowledge is there within us. Rishis, after examining so many things, they came into conclusion that there are only 5 objects are there which are disturbing us. So millions of objects are there, and they shortlisted into only 5. What are those? Rupa, Rasha, Shabda, Sparsha, Gandha. In Sanskrit it says. There's a form, Rupa, the taste, Rasha, the sound, Shabda, the touch, Sparsha, and the smell, Gandha. Beyond these 5, there is nothing. These are the 5 objects. And these Hindus, to remind these again and again, they included these 5 objects in their daily prayer. If you go to any temple, any Hindu shrine, even in the houses, the people individually, when they are doing the worship, these 5 objects only they use. Rupa, Rasha, Shabda, Sparsha, Gandha. So they will be utilizing these 5. And because those are the 5 objects, and these another 5 are there. What is that? That is Kshiti, Apa, Tej, Marut and Boma. These are the things which has created all the Rupa, Rasha, Shabda. So that also they are including. Only 5 again. And how we are enjoying? Through our 5 sense organs. What are the 5 sense organs? Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jiva, Tok. Those are the Vedantic students, they all know it. This is the eye and the skin and the tongue and the smell and the ear. So by that way we are enjoying all these objects. This is the whole life and nothing else. The human life is only going on circling round these 5 things. So the 5 objects are there, and we are going from one point to another to another, and there in center there is our mind, and the mind is collecting these, and then mind itself is developing different type of things, and then it's thinking this is the world. It is not the world. It is not the reality. It is only my imagination. Just because of my imagination, I have created my world in this way. So each and every individual's world are different. Why? The world is the same. Now one person is coming, I see him so gentle, courteous, and I say, please, you are welcome over here, come. There another person who was talking with me immediately, oh thank you, I will talk to you afterwards, I will meet you afterwards. He leaves. Why? Then afterwards he says, you don't know that gentleman. He is a really very cruel and very cunning type of person. I like to avoid his company. The same person for me is a good one, and the same person for another person is a bad. So we are creating our own world through our experiences, through our knowledge, through our imagination. So what is this world? Our creation. Now the question comes, when we are creating these, we need a basis on which only we can create. Otherwise, how can we create? If there is nothing, absolutely nothing, we cannot create anything. So we need something on which we can create. So on that, a group of the Buddhists, they differ over here. They say everything is shunnam. Everything, there is nothing is there. But we differ. The Vedantin will say, no, it is not possible. From nothing, something cannot come. There must be some basis. Some base should be there on which all these things are coming. Again, that it has become cliche by using so many times that the rope and the snake. Unless the rope is there, I don't see the snake on that. Okay, I am covering the rope because of my ignorance, superimposing the snake on that, and becoming afraid because of the folly. That is all there. But if the rope was not there, or something which like the snake, I could not imagine that. So that means some basis is there. What is that basis? Then the answer is Atman. On that Atman, which is that Atman, that discussion you will enter into, on that Atman only everything is superimposed. So this, then we are seeing the one which is real is so close to us, but unfortunately we do not understand it. The Rishi Vasishta, he is telling in the 2nd chapter, 9th verse, he said already, Yattu no drishyate kinchit antastvam api kinchana. So close to us, antastam, very close to us, because that is only there. What is that existence? That consciousness. But have we ever heard that there is a school which is giving us the training about the consciousness? No. For everywhere, only about the body and the mind. All the institutions that we find in the human society, they're great institutions, but they always talk about our intellect, our imagination, and those things which we can perceive, we can touch, we can smell, and all those 5 things that we can use. That much. But beyond that, the Atman, no, it is not. There will be some conception about the God, which is supremely powerful, So the people, sometimes millions, and the majority of the people, their conception of a religion is nothing but the supremely powerful someone whom we can call God. And we go to God for a special protection. So we are having many other protections. The health insurance is there, other insurances are there. Every way we are protected. But at the same time, we go to church, we go to synagogue, we go to temple for another type of protection. The half we believe, half we don't. But okay, there's no problem. If we go and then stay there for 1 hour, once in a week, no problem, we can go. So by that way, our religion, our practice of religion is that way only and nothing. But when you go deep into it, we find, oh my God, I am going to the temple, going to the church, going to the synagogue to find God, but it is already within me. It's so close to me. I am going to everyone, I am spending so much money to get the advices, and they are all expert advice, because my mind is now not tranquil, it's thinking this way, that way, it is turbulent. So I go to someone, or physically I am sick, so I go to a doctor. Like that we are taking the help of others. But I am that power which can cure everything. And that is called Atman, which is within me. This body, this mind, these sense organs, everything is working because of that power. We have forgotten that. So this is the thing. So when we have everything, maybe a motor vehicle, it is having the 4 wheels, it is having everything except that gas, or the diesel, or the petrol, it is not there. Will it move? Suppose it is by electric, it is not there, power is not there. Will it move? No. The same way we die because that power leaves us. But as long as we survive, we are not aware of that. And even if we are, the lot of doubts are there and lot of confusions are there. We do not know how to understand that, how to get that. And sometimes we fast, sometimes we go to holy places, sometimes we donate, sometimes we do this, sometimes we do that, thinking that something, whichever it may be, will bless me. The Vedantins say, no, you are that. Yattu no drishyate kinchit. You don't see that, though antastam api kinchana. It is so close to you. And what is that? Avinasham. Tad stiha sad. That atmeti kathyate. Atma iti kathyate. That is known as Atman. They have given a name only. Otherwise, we won't be able to understand, we won't be able to cognize, we won't be able to imagine. What is this? So the Atman has been Atman, Brahman, Sat, all these words have been used only for that. And that is nothing but the supreme consciousness, all pervading consciousness. That is within us. But no drishyate kinchit. We don't look at it, we don't see it. But this is how to understand it? Abhinasham. It is never destroyed. Though my body is destroyed and all other parts are destroyed, only one thing is continuing, that is Abhinasham, and that is this. The Zoroastrian and the Buddha and the Hindus, they always believe that there is another life, life after life, the transformation of life, how it is possible. Janmantara Bad. That is, we are dying and dying, only our body is destroyed, and that is nothing but the cover, but the resident that he is leaving, it was living inside the body, it goes and takes another body, another form, and it goes on living. The Janmantara, the circle, the theory of birth and rebirth, it is there. Many, they believe, Zoroaster, Buddha, and Hindus from the beginning. So this is the way we are thinking. So that is permanent. Even after the death of the body, something is there which is traveling, and then it is taking another form, whether you believe or not, but that is called permanent thing, and that is known as the Atman, and that is so close to us all the time, residing within us. Now it is telling like this, how to know it? Aitiriya Upanishad and Deepikas, at the page number 1, it says in this way, we can prove it. This consciousness can be proved by 3 steps, and that which remains in the form of all-pervading, transcendental reality, santato bhava. Remaining how? All-pervading, transcendental reality. It is everywhere, but this moment we cannot understand it, or see it, or smell it, or touch it, because it is transcendent. It is beyond our capacity of the senses, beyond the capacity of the mind. So that is the santato bhava. Also, this completely free from all limitations. This is known as Pratyag Atma. This is the way only we can try to understand the Atman. That is our real self. That is our reality. But to understand that, we have to take this imagination. Otherwise, there is no other way. This imagination means based on the arguments and based on the scientific way of proving. Now, how to know it? That Pratyag Atma. Pratyag Atma means the self which is residing within the body. Each and every being are having that self. How do you understand that? So that is the question. On that, it is the answer is in that who we are. Are we real actually? When we use the word real, we mean permanent. Of course we are permanent. But the way we think of ourselves, not in that way. At this moment, we think, the moment someone asks, who are you? I immediately associate myself with this body and the mind. And obviously this body, mind is having some lineages, some family background, some social background, all those. So I associate myself. From that point of view, it is unreal, because that is changing. But again, I am surviving. I am not dead. I can feel. I can talk. I can move. I can understand. I can meditate. This way it proves there's something which is very conscious, not inert, not jada, but conscious is there. So it's a astiti. That is the great word. It is there. It is there. That way it says, in that great Exodus, it says the Moses and the Lord God told him, go and say, I exist. The God told the Moses to take that message to the people of the world to deliver, I exist. And this I exist means this existence, when I get up from the sleep, oh, I am existing. When I am thinking, I am doing, I am moving, each and every time existence is there. If I am not existing, then what I am? So this is the thing. Now something, when it leaves my body and people say that it's dead, this person is dead, that existence is not there. And we call it sometimes prana, the soul, the atma, all jivatma, so many names we give, but actually that existence, I am existing, that consciousness has gone. So how to imagine, how to understand the consciousness? This is really very tough. Why? Because I am analyzing myself. And when I am analyzing myself, I am slowly refuting and giving my body, my mind, my thought, my association, my society, then where I go? Ultimately, that which is existing only. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna wonderfully explained this. He said, go on removing the cover of an onion. The onions are going on having so many covers, which is there in the center. Is there something? It goes, if you go on peeling, removing the slowly you will reach to that as if there is nothing. But in reality, there is something, and that something is known as the Atman, which is all pervading and without any condition. The time, space, and causation, that is, our body and mind is bound by this thing. Beyond this, we can, this body mind complex cannot go. But the Atman is beyond that. So that is, it says that Atman is beyond, and it is transcendental, completely free from all limitations. Our body has limitations, but the Atman is not having any limitations. So why they say like that? Those who have realized, those who have understood this, those knowledgeable people, those rishis, realized souls, they say unlimited. Unlimited, you cannot, it's completely free. There is no limitation. So that we can try to understand, we have freedom. When we were young, we used to feel the parents and the seniors and the teachers, they are compelling us to do this and that. We are not free. The father will say, now get up in the car, get in, then you have to go, we'll go there. I don't have the freedom to say no. I may say no, but father will say, no, you have to go. So then afterwards I become senior, I become free, I have my own car, but still some limitations are there. The government will say, no, because of the pandemic, you should not drive car, you should not go out. The limitations are there. We are not free that way. In every place, there is some limitations. For the Atman, no limitations. Friends, the Rishi has already gave us the idea of Maya. And this Maya is the power of God. This Maya is creating and projecting before us something which is not real. So that idea we are already having. This is a very mysterious power of God. And with that only He is creating and sustaining, and afterwards. But this Maya, though it has no beginning, it is from the beginning because it is with the power of God. The God has no beginning. So it anadi, is it eternal? But the God has no end, but His power, which is Maya, has end. The moment we understand this Maya, this power, immediately it vanishes. Though it is anadi, but it is not ananta. It is shanta. It has an end. So this is the difference. Now we have to understand why we are confused, why we can't understand the self which is within us. Because of this Maya. And what is that Maya? That is our ego. Or what is this ego? Something which is associated with this body and mind and goes on boasting something about which also we are not very much clear. But that separates us from the Supreme Consciousness. When that is solved, what I am boasting for, what actually is there? Oh, I am so beautiful physically, any time it may go. I can sing so well, any time it may stop, it may. I am so intelligent, I can do the mathematics well. I am a scientist, I can discover any time it may be destroyed. So all those things are there, but I am not free, I am limited. Is there anything unlimited? So when we start thinking like that, we become humble. And when we become humble, we make ourselves free from our ego. And when slowly we can turn that ego towards God, which is the source of all consciousness, and I will say the Brahman, the Atman, then that ego is completely gone, and association with this body and mind is gone. What remains? Asti. I am that. I am existing. That is called Atman. So it is proving, the Aitreya Upanishad Deepika says, that which remains in the form of all-pervading transcendental reality, also completely free from all limitations, is known as Pratyag Atma, the innermost self. Now, the Atma, one is Param Atma, another is Pratyag Atma. Pratyag Atma is also known as Jivatma. This is an individual self. Here we should stop and we have to think, does it mean there are millions, trillions, the individual self are there? They are all separate and they are all behaving very peculiarly, separately. So the sum total of that is called Paramatma. Yes, in one sense, the sum total of all these are Paramatma. Now again, if the Paramatma has distributed these things to millions and billions of the beings, then is the Paramatma is remaining still with the full thing? Yes, again. How? Because the Pratyag-atma or the Jivatma or the individual self is not real. It is the reflection of the real Atman. Only reflection. And that is so powerful. And that can do so many things, just reflection. So this is the way we have to understand. Where does it reflect? On our buddhi, on our intellect. So reflection of that Supreme Self, Param Atma, on our buddhi, our intellect, is the Pratyagatma or the Jivatma, or that is called the Ahamkara. So this we have to understand. This Atma is there. How? First, that which permeates at the time of deep sleep. Susupti, at the time of deep sleep. Again and again we have analyzed it. There are three steps. One is Jagrat, then Sapna, then Susupti. In the Jagrat, the waking state, we are active with the physically and also intellectually, mentally. Jagrat. Swapna, physically we are absent, but our mind is working and we see we imagine so many things in the dream. And it comes according to our past karmas and imagination, so many other things are also coming. Third stage, when you go, called deep sleep, where there is no dream also, then dream is not there, means mind is not there. Waking state, the body is also not there. So body not there, mind is not there. what was there. After the breaking of the sleep, after waking up, we say, I slept. Which is this I? Who was present? Body? No. Mind? No. What? So again and again we come to this 3 point, the Jagrat, Swapna, Susupti, and the Susupti stage proves that there is Atman, there is consciousness. And when at the time of sleep we go over there and come back again without knowing that. That's why the Rishi was lamenting, Antastham opi is so close. Yattu nadrishyate, that we don't see that. Though it is so close, we don't see that. Every time we are going there. Now the Rishi will say, consciously you should go. And that is called meditation. And when you go consciously, we find that. So, a proof is there, and that is Atman. How it is known. How to know it? Just through meditation. Now, Kathopanishad is suggesting the 2 slokas of the Kathopanishad I will quote from here. What is this Atman first? That we should have to have the idea, because there is no definition. So some suggestions are there that this is the way you should understand. What is that Atman? Yato Vishwam Samudbhutam. From where the whole universe has come. That means that is the main source, and this is the production of that. Yato Vishwam Samudbhutam. The completely it has manifested from that. That means all the properties of the Atman is present in the created things also. This is one point. Second, yena yatancha tishtati. And it is surviving, resting on that. Because if the basis is not there, the base is not there, then where it will go? Why it needs the base? Because this is the imagination. So we need something on which all our imagination can survive. And the main thing is the consciousness. A consciousness has been distributed, though only reflection, but it is distributed, so everything is coming. And because of the consciousness, thoughts are coming. And we can imagine, we can judge, we can do this and that. So action and thoughts, everything is coming because of the consciousness, though it is reflected. So this is coming from the Supreme Brahman, the Yato Vishwam Samudbhutam, from where all that has come. Now, surviving also. Yena yatancha tishtati. Then a time comes when you go back to, when you realize that I am that Atman, then immediately my association with the body and the mind and this world and this family and these friends and relatives and name and form, everything vanishes. So where I go back? I go back to the source, and that is called pralaya. Pralaya, going back to that. And sometimes individually it's called mrityu. That those who are dying, the great souls, after realizing this, they give up the body and go back to the source. Those who have not realized, the Hindus, they believe that they have to continue their karma and again they will come back. But ultimately, as Swami Vivekananda said, each and every one is going to realize the self. Today or tomorrow, we are going to realize the self. Those who are attached to this world, they have to go through little suffering, sometimes good, sometimes bad. In the beginning, so many sweets are there, we eat, then afterwards the diseases, then you have to go to the doctor, injection, all these things will be there. So some enjoyment, some suffering, life goes on. If you like, continue. And when you think enough is enough, now let me go back. Spiritual journey. And what we should understand, I am the Atman. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I don't have any association with all these things. I am just remaining over here as a reflection. Let me go back to the original source. Like this. Suppose there are so many glasses full of water. Now, in each glass there is the reflection of the sun. Sometimes the reflection is more prominent, so the water becomes warm because of the sunlight. Sometimes it is small. Now, suppose let us imagine these glasses can move, they can think, they can talk. Now, the reflected sun, and that in some which is more, it's hey, my water is warm and I am bigger than you, I am better than you, I am the king, I must rule and you must listen to. And then others, they sometimes it's okay and sometimes objected, so there will be clashes. Some of the glasses they will break and the water will be on the floor and no more reflection of the sun, and this strong glass will say, I have killed them. So that's why Bhagavad Gita says, those who think that they are killing, they are also ignorant. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chaidam kledayantapo, na shoshayati marutaha. You cannot dry it, you cannot weight it, you cannot burn it, you cannot cut it, because that is the consciousness. And that consciousness which is there, reflected. Now, we are also the same like those glasses. The reflection has come on us. A little better reflection immediately becomes a Mahatma. And he is thinking that I have to, if they are really conscious, no, I have to go back to my source. I should not be bound by this world. They withdraw all their attachments. That's all. Just withdrawing the attachments. How can I withdraw the attachments? When we can think very strongly that all these things around me are not permanent, are not real, is going to change. Even the one whom I love so much may change the mind someday, may not like me, may fight with me, may leave me. It is happening all the time. In so many families, every time it is happening. And the one is suffer, sometimes they go on drinking to forget this, sometimes suicide, sometimes they lose the brain, then all these things are happening. Why? Only attachment. And if there is no attachment, there is no problem at all. I never knew you before this. I am not going to know you after this. Why in between I should suffer? So these are yato visham samudbhutam, from where this world is created. Yena yatancha tishtati, when it is sustaining. Yes means sarvani liyante, is also merging into that creation, from which creation begins, in which creation rests, within which creation merges. Giyam tad brahma Lakshmanaihi. Lakshan means that is the indication. We cannot say this is Brahman. No. That is why they say Lakshana. This is the indication. When we see this, oh, that is the Brahman. That is the indication of the Brahman. This is the Kathopanishad is say. And in the 12th verse it says, this is the Mahanirvan Tantra, I quoted. Now we go to the Kathopanishad, the 12th verse of the Kathopanishad, second part, third canto, and the verse 12, it says, Naiva Vachana Manasa Praptum Shakyo na Chakshusha Astiti Bruvato Anyatra Katham Tadupalabhyate. Naiva vacha na manasa. It cannot be attained through the speech, not through mind. The mind can think, mind can imagine, But even the mind cannot imagine the Atman, Paramatman, and the speech cannot describe it. So how to understand this? Nor through eye. Forget about the eye. It is not any objects which I can go and see. How can it be known to anyone apart from his own speeches of it as existing? The only I am existing, by that way it can be known. This is a Kathopanishad. It says, 13th verse gives two suggestions. What is that? One is giving the method to know. The self is first to be realized as existing. The I am living, I am existing, that is the first thing. I am existing. The self should be known as the existing. Second, the self to be realized as it really is. The first step, we have to understand the Pratyagatma. In the second step, we have to understand the Paramatma. The first and the second step. Asti iti bhava upalabhya. Asti iti bhava upalabhya. The immanent in all. So that is called Pratyagatma or Jivatma. How asti? An ant was crawling. The moment you put your hand and make the finger and they make a little sound, the ant will immediately change its course and to save its life. How? Because asti. Now suppose a machine is coming. Sometimes the children, they are having some type of toys, and if you just put on the switch and it will start working, it will move. Now if you go and touch it, it won't stop. It'll be there. It's not changing the course because that consciousness is not there. Whatever has been programmed into that, accordingly it will play, it will go, move. But an ant, the smallest, the tiny little being, a creature, it has that Atman. It has that reflected Atman, Pratyagatma, Jivatma. So it can think, it can decide. So asti, that proves this machine, within that machine the Atman is not there. But in a living being, that Atman is there. So that proves asti. Asti means existing. What is existing? Consciousness is existing. Asti iti bhava upalabhya. That is the first step. When I see everything which can really take the decision, they are all leaving. Second, tattva bhavena bhavati. Then one should realize the unconditioned, attributeless self which cannot be an object. So through revelation. So when I am meditating, I am thinking that I am having that consciousness and the person sitting by my side is also having the same, and all these things, all are having the consciousness. Then slowly my mind is going and becoming bigger, and slowly we can feel the all-pervading consciousness. Without that, nothing is there. So Kathopanishad teaches us these two methods. First, you try to understand, differentiate the body and the mind and the consciousness. And that is called Pratyak Atma, the Jivatma, the individual self, the consciousness, the reflection of the pure consciousness. So that is first. When you understand that, then we go through the three steps, the Jagrat, Sapna, Sushupti, then we confirm ourselves. Yes, there is, it is. So I am, confirm the consciousness is there. Now that consciousness, as because it is the reflection, let me go to the original consciousness. So how? by giving up all these attachments. The very first verse of the Isha Upanishad, it says, Ishavashyamidam sarvam yatkincha yagatyam yagat tena taktena. You have to give up that. Isha Bhashyam. Bhashyam means covered. Idam sarvam, everything. You understand that. Shanam, whose property what you are going to enjoy in this world? What is this dhana? What is this property? What is this world? What is this name and form? Or nothing is there. So that is the second step. From the Pratyak Atma, from the Jivatma, from the individual self, understanding that, with second step we go, and that is called Paramatma. We merge into that, and that is the way it goes. Rishi Vasishta now gives the answer to our doubt. Are we real? So that is the question that you were asking. Now the Rishi is giving the reply. The second chapter, 10th verse of the Yogavasistha Sara, he says, Sa jnana darpane skhare samasta vastu jataya imasta pratibimboti sarasiva tatadrumaha. Sa jnana darpane skhare samasta vastu jataya. Then he is giving an example. When we think ourselves as child, young, old, rich, poor, beautiful, ugly, educated, uneducated, names and forms, we are not real. So question is, are we real? Of course we are real, but not in the sense of all this which comes into name and form. Then how it is? Rishi is declaring the reflection like the reflection of the tree that is on the bank of the water of the lake water. So that tree is reflected on the water. So that on the water, that inside the water also we see a tree. That tree is also, by that way when we see, exactly like the tree, but not real. The same way when you look at us, we also exactly look like the human being and animals, the birds, but it is not real. So similarly, we imagine our world reflected in the mirror of consciousness. Sa jnana darpane skhare. The jnana darpana, and that consciousness, in the mirror of the consciousness, we are reflecting our own self, our own world. So that is the problem. So when we see the Atman as the consciousness, then our association with this world vanishes. How it vanishes? Now this is again the confusion. As if immediately after the realization of the Brahman, there will be no world at all. What will remain? Oh, the waves of light will be there. If that is so, why Shankaracharya traveled the length and breadth of India and he argued with the people, opponents, established the Vedanta. He was a Brahmagyani. Of course, some of the Brahmagyanis, after the realization of the Brahman, they may leave the body. But still there are the proofs that the Shankaracharya, Buddha, after realization of that, after they were revealed with the self, they were traveling, they were teaching, they were helping people to understand this, they were writing the hundreds of the explanations, books. Then they must have seen the world. Of course they have seen the world. The Sri Ramakrishna used to go to different houses, they used to talk to them, used to take food with them. Of course he saw all those. He could differentiate good people, bad people. So Atman he realized, but at the same time the world he saw. but he was not associated with it. The attachment that we now feel for the world is completely gone. So that will be just like a beautiful picture going on, and we are living in that. That is called Jivan Mukta Avastha. That we will continue this idea, this discussion in our next Sunday. Thank you very much. Okay. So we will say Shanti 3 times and we conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat